EmagineNET takes an extra layer of security with state-of-the-art policies to help you from cashing bad checks. These policies are designed to alert you when certain limits have exceeded. To set the policies, go to the Administration menu option and click on Risk Management Policies. There are two sets of policies: your warning policies, which we have discussed, and your delimiting policies. These are designed to alert you and stop you from cashing a check when the limit exceeds. To set up the delimiting policies, make sure to enable all delimiting policies by clicking on Yes on Enable All Delimiting Policies. We'll cover each of the policies by sections. Let's go ahead and talk about mature company policies. The mature company policies are set up for those companies that have some history and have been cashing checks with you for a while. The first policy is: consider a company mature after one check is successfully cashed. You can set up these limits. However, we recommend 2 to 3 checks. The next policy is: do not accept more than one check from same mature company in 5 days. This policy tells you to not cash too many checks from an existing company. We usually recommend no more than 3 checks in a period of 7 days. However, you can edit these dates or quantity of checks as you please. The next policy is: do not accept more than 2 new customers within 5 days. This policy tells you that you should not cash more than 2 checks from new customers of this mature company in a period of 5 days. We usually recommend 2 to 3 new customers within a 7-day window. However, you can set up the values that are more convenient for you. Make sure to click on Yes to activate these policies. The next set of policies are the non-mature company policies. These are companies that have barely cashed checks with you and are considered non-mature. The first policy is: do not accept more than 5 checks from the same non-mature company in 5 days. This tells you to not take more than 5 checks for a company that is fairly new in your system. We usually recommend 1 to 2 checks in a period of 3 days, but you can set the value that is more convenient for you. Make sure to activate the policy. The next policy is: to not accept more than 10 new customers within 5 days. This tells you that you should not accept more than 10 new customers for a non-mature company in a period of 5 days. We usually recommend 2 to 3 new customers in a period of 3 days. However, you can set up the values according to what's convenient for you. Make sure to activate this policy. The next set of policies is a mature customer policy. It's very similar from the mature company policy. The first one is: consider a customer mature after one check is successfully cashed. We usually recommend 3 checks. However, you can set up whatever value is convenient for you. The next policy is: do not accept more than 7 checks from same mature customer in 5 days. This is telling you to not cash more than 7 checks for an existing customer in 5 days. This is a high value set up by default, but we usually recommend no more than 1 check in a period of 5 to 7 days. The next policy is: do not cash any more than $10 for this customer. This is obviously a default value, but you can set up an amount of $200, $300, or $500, which is what we recommend for a mature customer. However, if you are more flexible with your policies, you can set up whatever value you need. The next policy is: do not accept more than 2 new companies within 5 days. This applies for an existing customer that is considered mature, and you do not allow 2 new companies for this customer to be cashed in a period of 5 days. We usually recommend 1 or 2 within a period of 14 days, but you can set up whatever value you need. The next policy is maximum percentage increase in check amount from average check. We have a default value of 1. This policy tells you that you can accept a specific percentage increase of an average check. For example, if a customer cashes a $100 check every week, you can allow a 10 to 20, even a 30% increase of that check. If the customer happens to bring a $300, $400, $500 check or a $1,000 check, that percentage increase would have exceeded, and this policy will stop you from cashing a check of a customer that normally brings $100. If this policy comes up, you are more than welcome to verify the customer once again and make sure that this check is valid. This prevents you or your employees from cashing checks of existing customers that intend to do fraud with higher checks after creating history with you. The next set of policies is the non-mature customer policy. It's very similar to the previous policies, but for non-mature customers. These are usually new customers or customers that are not in your trust list just yet. The first one is do not accept more than 2 checks from the same non-mature customer in 5 days. We usually recommend 1 check in the period of 3 to 5 days to make sure that you do not cash too many checks from the same non-mature customer. The next one is do not cash any checks for more than $10. Obviously, this is a default value, but we'd recommend no more than $300 to $500 to make sure you're not cashing high amount checks for a non-mature customer. The next one is do not accept more than 10 new companies within 5 days. This is obviously a default value, but it's basically telling you how many companies you want to accept, new companies, in a period of 5 days for non-mature customers. We usually recommend 1 in a period of 3 to 5 days. However, you can set up whatever value you want. And the last one is the maximum percentage increase in check amount from average check. Very similar to the other percentage increase we discussed. How much is the percentage increase you want to accept for a non-mature customer? You can set up this value here. Don't forget to activate all these policies as you're setting them up. And once you are done, you can click on OK to update them and you should be good to go. When one of your delimiting policies is not met, you will get this prompt message. You will also get the description of the policy that was breached. You can click on OK, however, you cannot complete the transaction because one of the policies is breached. You can give the customer the check back, or if you have authorization, you can always go back to the risk management policies and edit the policy accordingly. However, we recommend that you stick to the policies that you initially set up.